Hey everyone, this is Corine Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host and favorite girl, of course, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know how we do it here on Between the Lines? We're always with gratitude or thankfulness. And I'm so thankful to be here above ground. A beautiful day. I'm in a different location. You may notice things are a little bit different, but don't worry. That's what podcasting is about. I could do it on the beach. I could be anywhere once I have Wi-Fi. Yeah. You may hear some different noises, which I cannot control. I'm in a different environment. So that's what it is. But I have a handsome man with me. Can you see him? I mean, oh my God. This is Regan Forston. And we're going to be talking about a topic. Let me just warn you one time that you might think is woo woo, it's too spiritual. We shouldn't be going there. You don't want to hear it. You don't believe it. It's not possible. I'm trying to think of all the things that you would tell me, right? All those different things. We're not supposed to interfere with these things, the spirits and so on, because you may have noticed that the title of this episode is, well, it didn't give it away, but you may have, if you read the description, you would realize the website is Visit the Afterlife, and we'll check out that a little bit later. But today we're talking about 3 hours, 33 minutes in heaven. Mhm. And you might want to know, how is that possible? Okay? Because once you go to heaven, you're supposed to be dead. And, and nobody could be spending 3 hours, 33 minutes in heaven and being on this show talking to me. So what's going on? So don't be afraid. Let me warn you, don't be afraid. Reagan is very safe.
Yes.
He's very safe. He's not going to bite you. He's not going to do you anything. I see him turning around. I don't know if he's seeing anybody from heaven there right now, but that's okay. On this show, all sorts of things happen. And let me tell you about Regan, and we go straight into it. So Regan is a co-host also of a podcast like me called Dance of the Soul. I love that, where he talks about anything spiritual. He's a former board member of the Newton Institute and certified facilitator of the Life Between Lives process. He and 220 other trained therapists in 46 countries have assisted over 65,000 people in visiting the afterlife. He is the author of a book about his journey to the afterlife with the same title that we named this episode. And I did that purposely so that it can be also linked to his book. And I find it compelling. 3 hours, 33 minutes in heaven. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, really. I'm going to be asking him some hard-hitting questions. We may not have enough time, so I may have to bring him back on for a follow-up or probably have a total live discussion. I just want to give a bit of nuggets in the 15 minutes we're supposed to spend together here. But we may go more into it and have probably a nice live panel discussion with some other people of spirituality. So you get a more holistic, uh, situation happening that you can make your own decision at the end of it. Yeah. So let me officially welcome Regan Forston to Between the Lines. Welcome, my darling.
Hi, thank you. That was a nice introduction. That's great.
You're welcome, handsome. So 3 hours, 33 minutes in heaven. No.
Yeah.
First question to you. Why would anybody want to visit the afterlife? Now, remember how I started off the show.
Yeah.
How are you visit? Why you want to interfere with the people on the other side? You are here. You're not supposed to be interfering with people over there. Next thing you know, you get stuck in between, and you don't want. Look, explain why would you want to do that?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm a researcher, so I'm not for any particular religion. That's up to each individual to decide. What we're doing and what I experienced is just something that it's a phenomena that's been discovered that allows a person in a deep state of relaxation or trance, as you might want to call it, which everybody can reach. It's just like the process of falling asleep, only there's a facilitator with you that keeps you from going right to sleep, keeps you right on the verge there. And we've discovered that there's a I call it a God switch. It's something that in that state where, God made us capable of flipping that switch and visiting the other side for a little bit, maybe getting in touch with our angel, with our guide, someone that's always there around us to try to help us. So the benefit of going to the other side and back is to find out the why to everything. In other words, why do I have this life? Why are parts of my life so difficult? What am I here for? Is this just happenstance that I'm here, or was there this whole thing planned so that I could come down and learn something in this life and then go back home? But the main thing is, and Corine, you had a good point, is it just gives us more assurance that there is an afterlife and that there is God and that we're here for a reason. So then we can concentrate on getting to work in helping the universe become a better place. So it's just, it's like if you know where you've been, then you kind of helps you know where you're going, instead of like all these things like why, So,
but here's the thing, Regan. I'm hearing you saying a number of things. You said God gave the permission, a God switch, to be able to do what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I also heard you said that, we to find out the why, you have to go there to find out the why. Now, the whole thing about it with spiritual, because I'm a spiritual person. I grew up Catholic. I was born and bred Catholic, but
Me too.
have good. Now, I have gone a different direction in my whole relationship with Christ. So I don't want to be placed in a box as Catholic, but I do admit it because it is how I was raised, and I still align myself with it. I may not be a practicing going to mass and all those different things, but I still have it in me. Now, the whole thing about trusting and to understand what your purpose is in this life is to be able to trust. Why do I need to have that humanness of having to go across to the other side to find out from God, or to even know that there is a God, to see if there is a God, to know, to come back and to actualize that? I think the whole thing about spirituality is to trust.
Yeah, it is. And if you're that person that has that trust and doesn't have any doubts that you're more than this body and you're down here to do good, then that's really all you need. You don't need to go to the other side because you're already doing it.
Right.
With me, what it helped, it just clarified some things. For instance, what I found out when I was on the other side, most people get to go before council. Like everybody, I've had about 100 people so far that I've helped have the same experience as me. And every single one of them has been able to go before council and ask questions about their life or about God.
Before council? What do you mean council? Like council as in COUNCIL or COUNSEL? Which council? Is it a group of people? What's going on over there?
I had six. There were six people when I was up there. There were six people on a council, and there was one woman, and some of them were hooded, so I couldn't really see. And then there was a Chinese gentleman, Late C, I think was his name, and he was
They
the one.
They tell you their names?
Yeah, I asked them. When we're there, I say, "Well, what can I call you?" And then they'll a lot of times they'll tell you. Sometimes they'll fool with you. Like there was one of my clients was when I helped them go over the other side, and they met their guide, and the guide was this beautiful, radiating energy, but in that state, you recognize people as energy, because in our true self, we're energy.
Of course, I believe that.
Yeah, So, but when you're in this state, you recognize people. Like you recognize energies. So, my client says, "Well, like, wow, this is my guide. I can tell. There's so much love coming from this guide." And I said, "Well, ask the guide his or her name," and the guide says, "Well, just call me Bob." And they'll laugh. You'll find when you're on the other side that it's just full of love. It's full of humor.
And that is why if I go, I'm not coming back here. I'm not.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that a lot of people say, because it is when people come back, they go, "Gosh, I wish I could just stay connected all the time." And then they realize, well, that's not the way it's planned. That's the party afterwards, But
to me, Regan, you can't stay connected. You see that statement? it tells me doubt. It tells me the lack of trust. I am in joy. I am in joy all the time. I'm not saying that there aren't moments of little doubts that might try to plant itself in, but from the time it hits, I'm like, no, 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 no. You are not. You're not going to make me feel shame or guilt. Past memory, like today, something from way back tried to haunt me. And I'm like, excuse me? No, no, you are not going to bring back up that in
Yeah.
me because I have dealt with it, I've let it go. So the joy you can experience out here, and I think that sort of blissfulness, extreme joy, I don't know what else to call it. You can find that when you go. I think it's something to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, as good as some people are in their professions and things, even the
Hmm.
best people always go to coaches. They have people
Hmm.
that coach them. And when you're on the other side, it's just like having a bunch of life coaches that are very, very aware of
I
who
would
you
think.
are.
I
You
would
can't
think.
hide anything from them.
I would
They don't
think.
they don't judge you or punish you or do
Hmm.
anything of a negative nature. They're just there to support you if you're having trouble. You know, now a lot of times when people are over there and they'll say, "Hey, I have this huge problem here." Let's say they're in a marriage and they're having this huge problem, and the
Hmm.
guides will just say, "Well, if you do this, 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 and this, and this, it's going to help you work it out." And then people will come back and they'll go, "Oh, I got to do all that," like, "Oh my God, I got to be kinder." I got to be a better listener and everything. I can't do that. So it's up to people when they come back, but at least they've got it right from the source that look, this is why you're going through this and this is what you need to do. Uh,
So who are the types of persons that want to be able to visit? Because, like you said to me a while ago, because I trust and because I live that sort of spiritual life, I don't have that need. That's a good place to be. So
yeah.
then, who are the persons that have that desire and don't trust to want to know why? Who are those people?
Well, a lot of people want to know why their relationships are what they are. You know, in other words, what we've discovered, and this is the coolest thing I think of anything, is that we've discovered that our true home is heaven. That's where we're created, and then
Hmm.
when we decide to have experience, we choose where another dimension, a planet, or something that we want to go to have the experience. Something we need to learn.
Hmm.
So then we come down, we find our soulmate or something, and all of a sudden we're having such difficulties and we can't understand why we're having difficulty in the relationship. And what we found out is that when you decide to come down, you leave part of yourself always in heaven. In other words, you put a certain amount of your soul energy into the body. And when we ask people when they're on the other side, how much of your soul energy did you put into your body? Most of the time they say about half, 40, 50, 60%, which means that, like Corinne, your higher self, or that all
Hmm.
knowing kind of part of yourself, is always there. So
Hmm.
when people are in this uh, going through this process, they're able to merge with their higher self, and they become like Solomon. And what's
Ah.
amazing is my clients will start talking about themselves in third person. And I ask, then when I hear that, I say, "Am I talking to Corinne's higher self?" And they go, "Yeah." And I go, "Cool, okay." And then your higher self begins to give you a lecture on all the things that you're not doing that you need to do, like things you've kind of fallen behind on. But because of the fact that part of you is always in heaven, a person can have a conversation with their spouse on the other side, their higher self of their spouse,
Mhm.
and they can have this conversation and say, "Hey, look what's up, man. We're having this difficult time. What am I
That's
not doing?"
counseling. That's counseling. Why can't they go in front of a priest, a pastor, a therapist, and do the same thing here?
Sure, they probably could, providing that priest had this higher knowledge. It's just that you're just going to the source. It's like going behind the magician's curtain, and you
Or
go,
go to God Himself. Just
"Yeah,
pray about it and allow Him to work in the marriage or in the relationship. It could be parental and children. It could be what?
yeah." Um, I would just say, for the people that did, like with me, I think about it at least half a dozen times a day.
Hmm.
Because uh, the emotional experience that it was, the healing that I felt,
Yeah.
the love that I felt. It's motivated me to be a better person.
Yeah.
I was doing. They were pretty proud of me over there. They said I was doing pretty good. I
They
found
were
out
pretty
that
proud.
my whole purpose for being born was to learn to be kind, you know,
But I
and
think that's what all of us supposed to be doing. Be
yeah,
kind.
but when I was younger, I was pretty selfish instead of selfless, you know, and I've had to overcome
It
to,
saddens me. It
yeah, it
saddens me,
is.
Reagan. It saddens me when people are so unkind.
I know. I mean, if people would just be kind, but you
It's
see,
not hard. It doesn't take any extra effort.
well, in a sense,
Well, I
for
guess
me,
for
it
them it
did.
does.
I saw, Corinne,
Yeah.
here's a sign that says kindness is love with work boots on. In other words, because, you know, let's say you're going into a store and there's someone coming up from their car and you could hold the door open for them, you know. Well, some people just go, nah, they'll open the door for themselves. And another person goes, well, why don't I be kind and make a person's day just a tiny bit better? And then you make that decision. Okay, do I go in? You know, because some people say, well, if I let them in the door before me, they're going to be in line before me and I'm going to,
My
you know.
word. My word.
So it's
And you know, if they said that, Reagan, they don't know if the person get in before them, it might save them from something for some reason. They're not even
that's
thinking
right.
that.
So but I had to
It might
practice.
come around to be a positive thing for them. You just don't know.
It's good. It's just what they would say up there is we're down here to learn to be kind in everything we do. You know, to not
So
just
you're
yeah.
3 hours 33 minutes. So somebody had to basically help you to transition there, like you said, go into heaven without the debt. As we round up, because we have gone a little bit over time, but I'm going to spend a little time with you here. What
Okay.
did you discover, or what are three things, since I'll be using the 3 hours 33 minutes, what are three things you want to share from your experience, if you can and willing to share, from
Okay.
that 3 hours and 33 minutes? Three compelling things.
Okay. Well, the big over picture is it was just absolute proof that I'm not alone. You know, that I met my guide, Rebazar, and uh, and the fact that there's always like a team up there that's rooting for me to be successful in this life. Yeah,
Always.
and the fact that there is a heaven, there's a place that you know, there's a place we go. We don't, you know. I mean, I have no doubt about it at all. I mean, faith is great, but you know, I mean, if someone can say, "Wow, there's this place called Disneyland, and it's the happiest place on earth," you know, and people tell me how great it is and everything, but I've never been there. Well, when I go actually to Disneyland and get there, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
then that's just a step better. You know, it's like, wow, I've been there. There really is this place. It's not just something people are making up, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had 12 things. If we do another show, I'll go through the 12 things that I learned about myself that have helped me
Wow.
change my life. And that is now that I've become a practitioner helping other people. Um, it's been very rewarding for me as far as having, I call it the best job in the world, you know,
One of the
helping
things I
people.
want to ask you, sorry for cutting you, Reagan, is it safe? I think that would be one of the questions people will be concerned.
Oh,
It's scary. You don't know, like I said, if you're going to be caught in between, and
yeah.
would
Well,
you be
we've had
left
60.
behind? Can you really
Yeah,
come back? Is
that's a
it
great
safe?
question, Corinne, because that is some people have the fear. But so far, now we're just researching, but in the 65,000 cases we've had from people all over the world, all different religions and everything, they've not had any negative experience. When this place that we're allowed to go or where we go to, there's no negativity, no hell, no devil, no. It's just love. It's all about love and light, you know. So I've never had any negative experience. Sometimes people, uh, because of some of the things that are revealed that they know they need to work on and everything. It's a little unpleasant in a way, like being not reprimanded, but let's say if you had a good teacher at college and that teacher just said, "Man, you're really not doing a very good job. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you need to really retake this class, or you need to get going and do your studying to, you know, because you're slacking. You know, like some
Yeah.
people will ask about their mission, and most people find out that they are doing their mission. even though, because we subconsciously do our mission, but sometimes they need to step it up. They need to okay, quit loafing now. You got work to do. Well, that's nice. I'm glad you're showing my site there. There's some nice videos on there that explain this more. You'll actually be able to listen to Michael Newton. As you're scrolling down there, you'll see him. He passed away a few years ago, but that's him right there. He's the one that discovered this process accidentally, and then he proceeded to take 7,000 people there. And as a researcher, he just asked all kinds of questions from people about their experience, and they've kind of mapped out what happens when you die, where you go, and what you do when you get there.
Wow.
So the videos are on the site, and people can believe it or not believe it. Some people, I would say, have to experience it to believe it. And other people will say, well, if 65,000 people have had this experience and everybody's pretty much having the same experience, that's what makes it really believable, because unbeknownst to other people, and all of a sudden, people see a guide, they're there, there's a council, they go to a soul group, or they get to meet to be with other souls that are in their acting troupe, or the group of souls that they like to come down and incarnate with. And
I swear I would stay. I'm telling you, I have thought about this thing. They have made movies on this, people trying all these other things. And I don't know, in my spirit and in my soul, I don't know why that thought came in my mind many years ago. I can't even tell you when it happened, but I just know I thought about this and I said, if ever I had that opportunity, I would stay. The human part came to me about, what about your children? What about your family here? I rationalize it like, they don't need me, they would figure things out. They're not babies, and, I just need to be more blissful. Like, people will ask me now, what do I want? Like, somebody asked me the other day what I want. I said, peace, money, love. And I don't need this sort of need. I'm not into needy love. People who are desperate and they come from a desperate place. It's just love, right, wrong. Like how you talk about kindness, just kindness and love and peace. And like I said to the person, I said, if I am peaceful by myself, I'm single and I'm peaceful, and you come into my life, Regan, you're checking me out, you're looking to date me, and you bring chaos into my life, you need to go. I can't be joyful and blissful and peaceful in my life. And when you are supposed to be adding value to bring more joy and bliss into my life, you're bringing chaos, problems.
Well,
no.
One teacher from the other side once told me that when you're doing really, really good in your incarnation is when you can be at peace and at love in the midst of a tornado.
Yes.
And that's what we're here to learn, is that in every situation, to be loving and kind, no matter what it is. That doesn't mean you don't get angry and you don't get blah, blah, blah.
Of course not.
Things, but it just means that you do it in a loving way,
Yeah. And I'm not alone in the storm. I think that is what brings that peace to me. I'm not alone in the storm. God is with me, because I know I'm never alone. I am never alone.
Yeah. And I really, my hat's off to these people that are advanced spiritually enough that they just know that, in other words, they don't need to go where I went or anything like that. They just living their life. They're living their life with joy and kindness, and that's what it's all about. So,
that's what it is. I don't need to go. I just know it. I am constantly surrounded, protected, spoken to, told what to do. It's just for me to do my part and be obedient, listen, do my meditations, not have things clouding my judgment and noise blocking them out. And I just work with it. Yeah. But this is awesome.
Yeah. One thing that my guide told me, and anybody could do this that's listening, he said to hook up to the other side during the day. In other words, to be open to the grace of God and everything, and to be more conscious of it. He said the best thing you can do is to do some sort of spiritual exercise every day. particularly like if you wake up now. Here's a prayer that I got when I was over there that I remembered everything, and I listened.
Nice.
Everything's recorded when we do these sessions, so because there's so much going on that you miss some of it, and when you listen
Yeah.
to the recording, you get the nuggets. But here's the prayer: is you wake up in the morning, you say, "Bless this day and those I serve, as I keep one foot in heaven and one foot on earth to accomplish my mission." You know, so in other words, it's
Wow.
just acknowledging that you're going to try to keep yourself in that beautiful place, but you got work to do, you know.
Oh, yes.
So
While we are here, we always have work to do. Work on ourselves to get closer and closer
yeah,
to what we are supposed to be, a better version of ourselves. We are supposed to be
yeah,
constantly working on that. Thank
and
you
there's
so
always,
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's always one more step to kindness. There's always one more
Oh,
step to,
please. Yeah. And I
yeah,
like how you said that spiritual muscle, just like how we would go to the gym and work out our muscles in our body. The spiritual muscle will help you to maintain even the physical muscle. Thank
yeah.
you so much, Regan.
You're
It's been a
welcome.
pleasure. We went over time, but I enjoyed it. We have to have you back. And like I said, I think a more panel discussion with some other persons would add
That would
so
be
much
nice.
value. Yes, and richness.
Yes,
Different
I had it.
perspectives.
Yeah, I had an interesting podcast recently with a bishop, a priest, and a nun. And we
Whoa.
were scheduled for a half an hour. It ended up going 2 hours. And then
Whoa.
we're going to do it again in January coming up. We're going to do another
You
two
need to
hours.
invite me. Invite me to that. I would love to listen to it.
Okay.
Please invite me. Please
I will,
invite me.
Corine. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you so
welcome,
much,
Corine.
Regan. This has been enlightening. Keep doing what you're doing
You
safely,
too.
though. Safely, safely. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you could give a little message whenever you go, just say Corine says hi.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Corine
Well,
says hi, and she doesn't mind if you visit her and just whisper in her ear. She's always listening. Just give them a little message.
yeah. We'll keep on giving that love and light like you're doing, Corine.
Thank you so much. Blessings to you, Regan.
All right.